And I have no idea what I'm doing. Hmm. Door. Oh, right. Last time we talked to Klaasje, and we got the Hardy boys to give her up so that I could talk to her. It's been a few days. It has been a few days. I record everything in bulk. And then I just upload throughout the week. And just kind of chill. I think of other things and try to do them. But I also tend to get caught up in stupid shit. Aware that I'm caught up in it, yet somehow unable to escape. Anyway, I heard the remix. Ugh, Nutrigrain. I heard that remix and I thought, nah. What do I care? It means nothing to me. Or does it? I don't know. I don't fully remember. But let's go talk to Klaasje about this. She surely did have thoughts about, Kohoi style and, kill 'em all or whatever the fuck it said. Door. To stairs. Plant. I think. Very sad plant. It's either a plant or a jacket that just came back from a long night. Equip a flashlight in low light areas. Or don't. We don't care if you trip and fall and snap your neck. Don't be afraid to say weird things. People are more forgiving to persons of power, like police officers. Yeah. Yep. I totally don't say weird things in my normal life. I am normal. Right. Water. Sup, bitch?
Officer, it's a fine day for questions.
Right. So. TARDIS, what?
Titus Hardy gave us a recording where the deceased states his intention to commit rape.
She puts her coffee cup down with a soft ring as the porcelain meets the metal table. This does not surprise her.
Did he? I never said he was a good man, or that he had good intentions. Only that he was never bad to me.
On this tape, he specifically identifies you as the target.
Where did they get this recording exactly?
It's intercepted radio chatter of the deceased, recorded via a de-encryption station. It's authentic enough.
Does he say he's gonna do it Soldier of the Apocalypse style?
She arches her brow.
Those are the exact words he used.
Yeah. That was practically his pickup line.
She picks the cup back up.
Did he say whores a lot? Was he pretty much on the verge of doing it Kohoi style?
I mean,
Kohoi was mentioned, yes.
He wasn't actually there. He didn't do a tour, or at least didn't tell me he did. Would have been overkill anyway. He lived his own little Kohoi. It wasn't his everything.
Why say things like that? Machoism? Wait, no. Machismo? Machismo? Words!
Yes, was he bragging?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he did all those things. Then integrated them into his idea of normalcy. To keep on living. Until they just sort of turn into his, what's the word I'm looking for?
Coping mechanism?
Running joke. I was gonna say running joke. And it sounds like you didn't even get the good bits. Lely's punchlines got way, way funkier than that. He was like the Seminoles conflict, the Kohoi massacre, and the 36 famine in Yezut all rolled into one person, then cast in Orani ceramic armor. which he wore in bed and in the shower.
Well, sounds like my kind of humor.
When he said he was done, and done mentally, it didn't sound like a joke. Sounded like a deeply troubled man.
Hold on. He said he was mentally done. That sounds like a broken man to me.
Well, maybe I pieced him back together with my magical personality.
You like this kind of stuff?
We're all scraping up any happiness we can find, officer. Going around with our little scouring sticks. You, your first love, Mr. Quohoy here.
Did he tell you he had actually done any of those things? In Martinez, I mean?
No. We were too busy laying waste to our own nervous systems to direct any of the fury outward. He seemed happy, I guess. At ease. As much as a man like him could be.
There is a small measure of pride in her that she could quell the rage in such a being.
I don't want to get fully... It's not really nitpicky, just something that I notice. It's kind of... just one of those things that you just notice when you're really listening. Like, it doesn't sound like they're outside. It just sounds like... You know, it's all very well done, very professionally recorded. But you can tell, like, there's a slight hardness to the edges of the sounds that makes it sound like it stops at some point. Not echoes, it just stops. Unlike out in natural air where it would just keep going and dissipate instead. Oh well, thought over.
Thank you for clearing that up, miss. Whenever you're ready. I'm interested to hear what Titus Hardy has to say now.
She takes a very small sip of her coffee and smiles.
Yeah, before that though.
Now that you've had some time, can you tell us more about the victim?
Like, for example, his name?
Actually, officer, I didn't know his name. I just called him Lely.
A nickname?
I guess. He came from Lelystad. It's short for that. And it was his army name, apparently. He said his real name wasn't his. I tried to pry it out of him, but it was no use.
Lelystad. That's a good start.
Lieutenant writes it down in his notebook.
We have a few questions you can help us with. A few things a field autopsy alone can't answer.
The young woman cranes her neck, trying to catch a glimpse of the page the lieutenant passed to you. On it is a list of autopsy observations recorded neatly in blue ink. The last missing pieces of a puzzle of flesh.
Where is Lelystad? The place, I mean.
In Oranje, officer. It's, I think municipality is the term. A nowhere town there.
You were almost right, officer. That means his race was occidental, not mondial. I'll update the form.
You're both from Oranje?
Yes. We were compatriots.
Did that bring you together?
No. He was too old for that. And from another part of Oranjenrijk. I didn't even understand his accent. What brought us together wasn't Oranje. It was bad habits.
Oranjerijk. Interesting.
How old was he, miss?
He was 42.
42? Are you sure? I would have had him above 50.
He had many scars that made him appear older. But no.
The memory makes us smile.
We even celebrated his birthday, like, some weeks ago. It was a funny 2 days. He had little reason to lie to me.
We were slightly off then. Thank you for clearing it up.
Lieutenant makes a correction in his notes.
A miss.
Damn it, hand-eye coordination.
The adversary one.
What do you talk about, physical instrument? You stay out of this.
His eye color?
Blue. Light blue. They were like little blue galaxies, you know? It was strange, seeing those eyes in his fucked up face. Pardon the swearing. I do him an injustice. He wasn't ugly. And he had a beautiful, soft voice. Very surprising, what with all the scarring. It was quite something, watching him speak.
He had a combat wound on his chin and mouth.
Yes. Severe. It made him look like half his face was cracking away in some strange smile. That and those eyes.
Ah, yes. His hair, if you can remember.
It was light brown, almost blonde. He darkened it with brilliantine, made oily. Not nice to stroke. I couldn't convince him to leave it alone.
Interesting. I too have stroked his hair.
Oily, isn't it? We have that in common now.
She understands what autopsies entail. It doesn't get her off balance.
Oh, I wasn't trying to throw her off balance. I just wanted to share that. Don't people normally touch dead corpse hair? Just for fun? He had a tattoo. What did it mean?
Oh, that.
It's clear she liked it.
You liked it?
Quite a lot, yes.
What did it represent? Do you know?
It was a map of his life and the places he visited as a soldier. It was mostly for showing off to chicks, though.
For showing off the chicks? How so?
How? Imagine him lying in bed. Freakish musculature laid out on the sheets. Scarred, of course. Tattooed. The sheets are dirty for some reason. He's smoking and drinking, of course. And his chest and shoulders and arms are studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them. Maybe even thousands. And the woman goes like, "What was this, baby?"
Oh,
And he
brain.
says, "That was too hardcore. Don't ask me about that." So she goes, "Okay, but what's this, baby?" And he's like, "Saw some bat shit there. Killed some loincloths." And so it goes. Star after star. Port after port. Third world country after third world country. And he's done horrible things in every single one of them.
You were the woman in this?
Oh yeah.
She nods.
Can you tell us precisely what these mean?
No, thank you. I've seen enough of him dead. I can tell you what they meant without looking at them.
She pours herself some more coffee.
Go on.
He was a blue-eyed boy with thick arms, from a small town. He was also poor, and the government of Orania needed some people killed, so they turned him into a grotesque killer. For money. He went to Killer Academy in Vredefort. Then he killed some people on the Seminine Islands. And on other islands, too. All of the islands. After this, he came to Revachol and got killed himself.
Not a very fun story.
It is when you're high. It can be very exciting then. You have the tools to deal with it. It's not a very nice story to remember when you're sober. A change of topic?
Tell me something odd. Did he enjoy his death?
Why do you ask?
She seems unsurprised.
Just have her answer the question. Don't give explanations.
Please answer the question, miss. Did he enjoy the moment of his death?
I don't think he enjoyed dying, officer. He had too much left to do. Too many third world conflicts. Couldn't tap out just yet.
Could it be love that did him in?
It very well could be, yes.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? I have no idea. I don't even know what you mean. Love did him in? What does that mean?
He told me love did him in.
That's not funny, officer.
Her voice is like a slash through the air. Her shoulders tense up. There, she momentarily lost control over straight back guy. It appears that she feels guilty.
Do you feel guilty?
Of course I do. I'm hungover. I feel guilty about everything.
Do you feel guilty about what happened to him?
Among many other things, yes. I could have done something. There's always something you can do, right? Ask me something else.
We requested a semen screening from processing.
Good for you.
What do you think it will tell us?
I don't know how a semen sample works, officers. How many days after intercourse does it have to be? I don't even know if he had sex with someone else. We didn't go steady.
This is one of her maneuvers. The others are fast asleep, as always. It's hard to say what the truth is.
Damn it, guys. We're supposed to be on the same team. You're all just walking around, dicks in hand, not even aware of what's going on. I think we're finished with this line of questioning.
All right.
Lieutenant puts the slip back in his notes and observes the young woman for a moment.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more coffee.
We'll be back, miss.
Wait, stop. That man, bloated beyond all recognition, was 42?
That's what she said, yeah?
Below the damage, the weeks of decomposition, all the swollen indignity of morality. He was 42 years old?
Where is this going?
How old are you? That's where this is going. 45,000 liters of raw alcohol has left its disfigurements. What lies beneath, you wonder?
Do I wonder?
You could ask either one of them.
Kim, how old do you think I am?
Huh?
How old do I look?
How old? 58?
What if you're wrong? We were both wrong about the deceased. He turned out to be 40.
42. And he was deceased. He had been decomposing for a week.
I feel like I've been decomposing for longer than that.
On the bright side, you've been getting a lot of exercise lately.
You're right. I'm probably 62. Let's leave it at that.
I didn't say 62. I said 58.
He squints, looking at you for a second.
Wait. This requires scientific measurements.
Bring it on! I'm not afraid of the truth.
To the laboratorium.
Yes, the laboratorium. We have just a million of things. Your face looks like it's 58, and your body feels like it's 60. Your mind feels like it's lived for 1 day or 100. Both longer than they ought to be, the day and the century, but for how long, then, has this thing attached to your sentience walked the planet's crust? Time to start racking those brains of yours, Elder One. When and where were you born? I want to do the 15th Indo tribe, I think. I don't fully remember what exactly it was, but I think I want it. Okay, well, anyway, to the Hardy boys. Can't put more points in a skill. Drugs raise learning caps, but they're bad for your health. Yeah. If you're gonna do a drug build, you really have to be a hustler. You gotta take all that money. All the money you possibly can. You gotta be dirty. You gotta be corrupt. You gotta be marketable. You gotta know how to fast talk, motherfuckers. Yeah, you gotta know how to slip in between their words to get right to the source of a matter. That way, you can plunge right into their pockets and take from them all their wealth. Ain't shit they can do about it. You have all the money in the world. Or you can somehow figure out all the which thoughts give you money. Because there are a few options for the money requiring possibilities.
We're back. Hope you didn't miss us too much.
The clowns are still hanging around. What is it now?
Yeah.
So I talked to Klaasje about the tape.
And
Nothing. She stands by what she said.
that fucking fucker. You're the worst cops in Revachol. I gave you gold on that tape.
It was dark stuff, but it didn't prove anything. And it didn't change her mind.
Dark. Dark is when you start a goddamn death rock band. He said he'd rape her.
Shakes his head in disbelief.
Sounds like he wanted it to change her mind about the hanged man. This is definitely personal.
What did she have to say then? Fine by her? This is what people are supposed to be like? Fucking whoop-de-doo.
Well,
If anything, she seemed turned on by the whole doll-cutting thing.
Yes. In fact, I think she thought it was a little funny.
Funny. No good goddamn psycho whore. Alright. All fucking righty then. I guess it's good then. That fucking...
Please try to control yourself in the presence of visitors, Titus.
her voice is a bit softer than earlier.
Okie dokie. This is just perfect. Just fucking perfect. Any thoughts on this, lawman?
Yeah, what the fuck was that okie dokie? That was like
so fast. It didn't even sound like something you'd say before starting a line. Like
okie dokie. I think this is personal for you.
like that's what it sounded like to me. I don't know. Titus rubs his chin with his palm as if trying to grind it smooth.
I think this is personal for you. I think you had feelings for her.
Yeah, they're all queers. Can't bump, hard fist, or anything.
What the fuck? That is not. Pff, everyone's got feelings for each other. Where are you going with this? I don't know. That was the best imitation I could do.
That's alright, Glenn. I just thought, I thought anyone would come around that heard that shit. Apparently I was wrong.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
He smiles sympathetically. Yeah, that was fucked up. I guess that sounded a little better. I don't know.
He wanted her to see the man for what he was. Now that you know, you might want to lay off this topic, or else you might antagonize him.
I just got too worked up. Big man lost his shit. It's cool now.
Be straight with me, Titus. What really happened?
I already told you. We fucking hanged him.
There's less gusto in his voice now. His men too are growing increasingly silent. The man is slowing down. Looks like a bad blood sugar crash. He can't keep track of all the variables anymore.
I could barely keep track of my own shit, and I'm not lying either. Fuck.
Come on, Titus. We know you didn't hang him. He was shot. I know you're tired. So am I. Why don't you just...
You know what? I am tired. I'm tired of you and the whore upstairs. Next time you see her, tell her Titus said, "Fuck on!"
Throws his beer can down.
That lying, scamming. We're done. This is over. You understand? Your little investigation is over. Yeah.
There's a silence in the room. Elaine starts saying something, then thinks best not to.
On the floor, beer drips out of the can into a small puddle. No one does anything about it.
What is this quiet funeral shit? All we need is some beers in us. Bartender, 20 beers for the Dock Workers Union.
Why do we make it 40, huh? Why do we make it 100 beers? You're not loud enough.
100 beers? Now we're talking. Hoppity hop over here, cafeteria manager.
Oh, shit. My rhetoric, man. Strange reaction to bullet. Compromise skill set known. Understood why Titus is upset. Discussed the 8th Hardy, but we're only at 8%. I ain't fucking touching that with a 10-foot pole, mate. I'm out. Fucking big dick cop out. Well. Okay. Let's regroup outside. So what do we know? Not much. We know Titus is not giving us the whole situation. He's not just admitting to what really happened. And we also know that something is off about Klaasje. But our faculties are so fucking compromised that it's basically pointless. We can't pinpoint anything. The thespian, which is probably Drama. Drama has a little bit of a thespian. Always says shit like my liege and whatnot. He's not jumping in at all. He's so fooled. Okay. Then what do we do? I think we're gonna have to do something I didn't want to do. I'm sorry, Tommy, but I have to figure out what's going on next. I have to advance the investigation. We can't be friends.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
I've changed my mind about your friend, the lady driver.
What? But I told you she's my friend. Please don't make me give her up, detective. Get someone else. There's a ton of drivers here.
She's a suspect, and I need you to tell me where she is, or I can't finish the investigation.
I thought you were a different kind of cop.
Something breaks in him as he stares into your eyes.
The realization that you've used his friendliness and goodwill for your own ends. Remember, you're doing it for the bigger investigation. This is important. Relax. Ask.
Where is the lady driver?
Here.
He takes a keyring from his pocket, then looks at it before giving it to you in silence.
The keys to a motor lorry. Pretty complex. Looks like a chain lock.
Her lorry's still here, down past the statue of Philippe. The cabin is green. You can get in there with these. That's all I know.
When did she leave?
Last Friday.
Anything else? Like where she is now?
No. I don't know.
And why did you have the keys?
She left them to me. Because she trusted me. So I can get it out of the way when the jam breaks loose. Otherwise...
He didn't finish the sentence.
The other drivers would have to tow it or break in to get the machines moving.
I'm sorry I had to do this.
I bet you are.
And he's sorry he couldn't be what he wants to be. A good person. His last line, his revenge on the world.
Let's go, Kim.
Thank you for your cooperation, sir. I know it was hard, but you did the right thing.
You don't really think so.
I really do. If I didn't, I wouldn't be in the RCM. Take care, sir.
I'm sorry, Tommy. You're a good guy, but I'm a fucking idiot who can't yell at people correctly and can't figure things out for himself.
This screen found, A to Z, contemporary, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days.
This is the one our men pointed to.
Lieutenant peeks inside. Trying to peek in the window.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of the seat and 2 steering levers. It feels like you're peeking into someone's home residence. Inside it's private, cozy, warm, dusty too.
Try the door handle.
The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced. There's no pick in this lock. The owner has put special care into it. It's a recessed design.
Unlock the door with the key Tommy gave us.
You push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a cracking sound. Then the door pops back a few centimeters. You can just
open it.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be.
Okay, yeah, but first, posters.
These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat.
Ingenue?
There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, with a hint of amberette, wafting through the bitter air of the cabin.
Let's double down on that smell.
The remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume, probably granate number 5.
Okay, study the centerfold.
The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. A feeling of tenderness washes over you. A longing even, perhaps. And gentle tragedy.
Enough posters!
The actresses and the rear actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat.
Examine the radio.
Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least.
It has to be an advanced model to fit so many frequencies next to each other without blending them together.
What about the Speed Freaks FM? Is it one of the same stations here?
No, that's on 78.9. What? I happen to have committed the frequency to memory. I have no problem admitting that.
Yeah.
Why would anyone need so many radio stations?
For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation, with quite a range too.
A 20-kilometer radius at least, perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now.
Is there anything we can do with the radio?
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without a dial key.
What else is here?
The ghostly actresses and the rusty toolbox under the driver's seat and the oddly bulging seat cover.
Let's check these pedals.
You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle.
Why would anyone glue a piece of sandpaper to the gas pedal?
Sandpaper? A novel technique. Must be to offer some extra grip to the driver's foot.
The sandpaper would also rub off the pattern from the driver's right boot sole.
Yes?
He likes where this is going.
Do the honors, he thinks. Connect it yourself.
One of the footprints at the crime scene had an aberration. One sole was smoother than the other.
Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching.
Lieutenant's eyes light up behind his prescription lens. Ah, I see.
First the drug smuggling. Now this. How deep does this rabbit hole go?
Now we know for certain who is the missing eighth person at the lynching. Do you think that Hardy and his boys could also be involved in the drug operation?
This would fit what Joyce told us, but I don't want to make any assumptions.
Understood. We should still go and see what Titus has got to say on the matter. Are we finished with the lorry?
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. The radio transmitter sits on the center console and a faint smell of perfume is in the air.
Ah, we got a passenger seat to deal with.
Voila! A stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revachol. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen.
Bonne prise.
Lieutenant commends you as you shift through the treasure, well worn and folded into neat squares. Fold open the topmost map.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to Martinez is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called the Old South. Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways of getting onto the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock, and this person knows them all. There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881, high above the massive brown and red roofs that is Jamrock. The commuters don't even look down. The world ceases to exist outside the windshield.
Well, isn't that just a terrifying thing? And ow. I was just pulling skin. Where does the road lead, though?
To Kuron, through the middle-income neighborhoods there, by the river, and then to Stella Maris and La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttle to their fates below the road.
Just imagine that fucking being in a world where your city, like some little tiny small town city whatever, is underneath what essentially equates to a highway bridge. Like, you are perpetually in shadow every single day. Sounds nice. I hate the sun. Fold open the second map.
This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the Pox, old military hospital, right adjacent to the 41st precinct. No storm will ever drown Revachol, the great solution to the riddle of history.
Ah, look at the third map.
The final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of Motorway 881. A few routes have been marked with a pen, where the tunnels and sewers surface near the eminent domain and a traffic island in central Jamrock by the lake. These service tunnels were probably used during the construction of the foundation beneath the motorway.
What does all this mean?
It means that the smugglers are secretly using the motorway to transport their goods and materials. They've infiltrated the East Motor Tract, most likely. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them.
Where does the contraband end up?
Hard to say. This distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the Besmerti behind it.
Besmerti? That sounds vaguely familiar.
The Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo-tribes, but really they're just violent gangs vying for control on the west side of Revachol.
But what about the 15th? Oh.
With cool names, like La Puta Madre and Aura Masta. It's a dark parody.
Who do you think is behind this?
It's definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Madre remains the most likely suspect. Here's bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is a brave man for saying Madre's name without the winces and whispers that usually accompany it.
Return the stack of papers under the seat.
Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick these up later.
The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. The movie stars look silently by, and the pull-out toolbox has a rubber handle, worn from years of use.
Yeah, pull that toolbox out.
A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper.
Yeah, unfold that bitch.
It's an issue of Petit Ferique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
The slot trails off.
The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. The rest is as it was. Posters, a radio, dust on the windows. You close the rusty old lorry door.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce?
Uh-huh.
Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
Seems like something police would do. What do you think of all this, Kim?
Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net. I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay hidden. This is useful info. And last but not least, it looks like the Hardy boys knew this driver, as we know that she was present at the lynching. This may be the Union connection we've been searching for.
The probe and the case converged, he thinks. This was quite the find.
But wait. What about the movie posters? How do they factor into all this?
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
I mean... a lot of women there. Especially for a lady driver's cabin.
Yes, well...
He doesn't say more.
Unimportant.
Fine. So it turns out this is connected to the Union.
Like Joyce told us, yes, logistically. But don't expect to bust this open during our stay here. At best, this is an angle we can use against them, to other ends, as extra ammunition.
Meaning, someone as slippery as Everard won't be caught by a couple of cops and some stuff they found in some cabin.
Right.
Will the RCM open an investigation into this?
We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that.
He stops to think.
What are you thinking?
The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome.
Corruption?
All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either.
Okay. Debrief over?
Debrief over. After you.
Yes. Oh, Titus. I have some information that will blow your fucking balls off. You'll be choking on that beer before too long, good boy. So why don't you put it down before you end up killing yourself? Man, it'd be interesting. I have no idea how they would even remotely manage to pull off a sequel. But it'd be interesting if they did. Probably would never happen, and Disco Elysium is perfect as a standalone game.
It's you again. What is it?
Oh, Titus.
Guess what? I've connected you to the local drug trade.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 Kilos.
We'll do that. In the meantime, did you know that there's an abandoned lorry at the intersection that was used to move raw ingredients for drugs from Terminal B to Jamrock? The person driving it was present at the hanging. It was one of you. We've connected the footprints. Detective, do you want to deliver the coup de grace?
The thought forms in your head, like a lightning strike branching in the sky. No, the thunder is his. Leave it to the lieutenant.
No, do the honor. You've earned it.
Thank you. You're right, Titus. There is no local drug trade because it's all controlled by you. You're the drug trade.
That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers, even some of the junkies.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. I know for a fact, there's still plenty of drunks out there.
No, there aren't. Some little shit and his dad are doing speed. Who fucking who? Stuff's probably from Jamrock.
Little shit. That's Kuno in the yard.
Whatever you've seen is peanuts. Look at the big picture, man. The place is a paradise. And all thanks to Hardy Boys.
Theoretically, of course. We're just talking politics here. My answer to your drug accusation is, how dare you? Go fuck yourself.
That was... Go fuck yourself. Sounded like his tongue just got stuck in his mouth. I mean, it is already stuck in the mouth, but you know what I mean. Go fuck
Not
yourself.
quite yet, Mr. Hardy. There were 8 sets of prints on the crime scene. There are only 7 Hardy boys here.
The 8th Hardy. The one who's missing. She runs the thing, right?
My answer is, fuck off. Mind your own business. There is no 8th Hardy. I run this goddamn scene.
Objection.
Finally, you got something out of him. This could prove useful in the future.
And here we go. Back to the usual.
Sigh.
I know. Fatty walked on all 4s. He's so fucking fat he left 2 sets of footprints.
Despite everything, the little man is quick on his feet.
Go fuck your mom, Dennis.
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all 4s. Anything else you need to know?
Yeah, why are you such a bitch? Only a 9% increase. God's damn. We need more pull. But what we also need is this thought.
Jamais vu. Derealization. Jamais vu. The opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this? What world are we in? This is a fundamental question.
Ah, this is the +1 XP for every orb clicked, which is really good. For every orb clicked. Every orb. Doesn't matter what orb it is, if you click it, you get XPs. Which reminds me, I actually skipped over one because I was not paying attention. Yeah, so I'm gonna go click that. But we definitely need more information. Or better yet, I need to up my rhetoric. Probably should be the next thing that I do to move the investigation along. More than likely, rhetoric is going to be very useful in this one situation. Bubble! Ruins full of snow. No one lives here anymore. Fair enough. But definitely go back to Joyce. And then after that, we can end les episodes. Les episodes, les epivues, epimons, epirain, epirise, epipen. Yes. Would it be easier to just pause the recording and unpause when I get back, when I get to Joyce? Yes! Will I do that? No! Because I don't feel like it. Join my ride. Hello, Joyce.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Right. So,
I spoke with the lorryman at the roundabout.
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Wait, where exactly are these eyes located?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
She's trying to conceal her excitement, but the slight glimmer in her green eyes tells you otherwise. The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
shut up, authority.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
Wait, what was that about a bloodbath?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
Okay, so tell me again, how are the lynching and the strike connected?
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They're meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
What then?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now.
For now?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
I have to say, this is not disco.
It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put,
She grabs hold of the mainsail.
if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project strength and power.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a Hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty. These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes.
As I said, a bloodbath.
I think the confrontation is inevitable.
It doesn't have to be like this. Nameless, badgeless officer of the citizens' militia. One single, concrete suspect delivered into civil court. A good one, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
What can you tell me about Crenell?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep, black well.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Okay. Anything else you got on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP now?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
Could you contact the company? Tell them to call them off?
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
You said the deceased assaulted a woman.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Who did the passing on then?
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
What did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
This does not come as news to us, but still. To your knowledge, where did this assault take place, if you know?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
And who was this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the Colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
You don't know how you know. It's not written on her face, nor in her voice, but she had sympathy for this man.
You liked him?
Liked is a bit strong. He was the most charismatic among them. He handled all the talking. His departure left a major gap in the group's communication skills.
And his name was?
Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Tell me about the others first.
One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
There's a pang of regret to her voice.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40 or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age or gauge his facial expressions.
This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body, and Klaasje also mentioned it, I believe. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the two remaining mugs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Vigilantes? The RCM gets its authority from the Coalition. Where does theirs come from?
Somehow, I doubt that lecturing them on the legitimate use of force will persuade them to stand down.
Well, we still need to know where they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Yeah. Well, it's a red check, so no matter what, it's only one go.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbour gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise.
What? I gotta know. What did I get? A 3 and a 6 with a logic of 1. Wow. Damn.
The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
One must be the goon in the ill-fitting work clothes by the harbour gates. The scab leader.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
I'm kicking that motherfucker right in its fucking dick.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Catastrophe.
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
One is probably in a building overlooking the roundabout.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a shortwave at the ship's wheel.
Another question?
I hope I can answer it better.
And by that I mean nothing, because I have to end this episode. Wait, what the fuck's an episode?
I'll tell you what
I
an
am
episode.
sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Yeah, well, gotta go. And before, let's just bump up rhetoric just a little bit. And apparently an item is dropping our rhetoric? What be dropping my rhetoric, mate? What it be? Ah, my hat. Of course my bum hat is fucking it up. God damn it. Well, whatever. So, we have found the drug trade is going on. And we're still being lied to. And we haven't really found out too much of anything. So, yeah. Bye.